Imran Khan swept the elections on 8th February 2024. That's unheard of. Actually, anywhere in the world, since the process of electoral politics started maybe over a century ago, it is unheard of what happened in Pakistan on the 8th of February in 2024. That, I think, was a big shock. They spent the whole next day rigging that election because he had won more than two-thirds, in spite of all these efforts that they put in pre-poll rigging. He had swept the elections, and they spent the next day making him basically stealing the whole election. And they're still in the process of disqualifying one at a time, maybe 5 people, 10 people. Even now, they disqualified 10 of his members from the assembly, again on charges of 9th May. 9th May, everybody in Pakistan knows, was a false flag operation. They structured it by claiming nobody died, by the way. It's a few buildings that they reportedly were set on fire. There's no death on their part. On the other hand, protesters on the streets were sniper rifles fired at them on the 9th of May, and many people, at least over a dozen people, were shot dead. And these are peaceful protesters at that time on the road. So the point is that it all started with Imran Khan, and Imran Khan is still the issue. But we plan to stand with him, and that's the whole issue. That, like, they don't know how they. You see, before they arrested him, they offered him that we are giving you a chance, leave the country. He said, "Why would I leave my country? Like, what's my crime that I have to leave the country?" He stayed. Then they thought he won't be able to sustain himself in that prison. He's got a tiny little cell. And he's a man with a very strong will and a lot of faith. He's got a strong faith in Allah. And he has sustained, gradually, they have taken away every facility he has. He's in complete solitary confinement. And that is being done to break that man who is a voice for the people. So it's not Imran Khan they're after the voice of the people. And it's basically, that's, you see, in olden times, you would have dictatorships. There was no communication. So a dictator could come, take over, use armed men, tyranny, suppression, silence the voices, control the state television, and he could and control the 2 or 3 newspapers. And dictators could sort of last for many years. Right now, I think the change in the world is your social media. In fact, you people are the change. Your generation is the change. The younger generation is the change. You have these mediums in which you can communicate with people. And this has caused a huge change, generational change. So now when they're trying to use the same tactics that were used 50, 60 years ago, it's just not working. Younger generation have too much access to information. And this information is the problem right now. And it is, old tactics are not fitting into the new system. Right now, they cannot understand that they are using tyranny, they are firing at people. Why are they not giving up? Because the new generation in Pakistan, and we've got about 60%, which are very young people. That's about 110 million young people. And they are on that phone, and they are independent in their thought, in their thinking. And they have access to information. They refuse to accept this sort of tyranny. So I would not say that this is coming to an end. I would say this is the beginning of this. We are going through a process of change, and we have no idea where this goes from in the next steps. But this tyranny that they're using, and we, being Imran Khan's family, if our brother can sit in jail for 2 years and what he has put up with, has no access to family visits, which is his legal right. He has no access at all. When you're in a prison, books are a very important part, and he's a reader. He can consume 2 books in a day. One of the biggest challenges we have faced is getting him books and he reads history and he reads a lot of history. And what they've blocked for him is his books. There's what else? There's no television that he should have been allowed. There is no newspaper. So they've basically cut off all his communication with the outside world. So he's and access to people. My last time, I haven't met him in 3 or 4 months. So they thought if they block me, they can block his voice, where I have to give his message to the people. Then they allowed two of my sisters, and then they cut that down too because my sisters would bring out the message, and then we will give it out to the press. Then they reduced it to one sister, and since past 2.5 weeks, that weekly visit is completely cancelled. So there was only one lawyer allowed to visit him on Tuesday, and he brought out a shorter message, but my brother manages to bring out a message for his people. And all he said is that if I can sit here in this cell for 2 years and I can say strong, I want my people to remain strong and we will stand up and fight against tyranny. That was his message. And I gave it to the press.
The message from a few days ago, from 19th of August, 3 days ago. My message to my entire nation, my workers and party leadership is that your captain is still standing tall,
Yeah.
with his chest held high, and you must not panic. This is fascism. But despite all this, you must not lose courage under any circumstances. I myself am fighting the battle for the true freedom of my nation while imprisoned in this jail cell. My question to you, Alima, is your two sons are now arrested. The son of your brother was arrested and he's facing 10 years in jail. And you have an arrest warrant against you as well. What's going on through your mind? How does it feel to just be targeted by this big establishment?
My sister's son, Hassan, he has been in a military jail.
Sister
You have to
Hassan
understand. He
Khan
was in
Niazi, yes.
Hassan Khan, my sister's son. He has been he's been convicted for 10 years by a military court, no trial, no evidence. Like you have to understand these convictions are without absolutely any justification. Like, where's the process? One of the biggest things that my brother's been saying that was collapsing, but they did an amendment which is called the 26th amendment in October last year. In 2024 October, they passed an amendment which basically uh, converted the whole judiciary into a government department, as my brother would say. They actually took away the independence of the judiciary. And everybody knows, anywhere in the world, that whoever's watching, that justice is the basic requirement of every citizen in a country. But uh, once the people lose faith in the judiciary completely, and earlier on we were getting some justice. We understood that maybe some judges are, but some judges are excellent in our courts. But to actually publicly, blatantly, in fact, in your face, say that these judges, we'll tell them, we'll dictate to them. So the judges are sitting there giving out 10 years, handing out 10-year sentences with absolutely no evidence. It's a mockery of the justice system right now. So without a justice system, when this government says, well, Imran Khan is facing his cases in court. Imran Khan was charged for conspiracy of 9th May. The High Court, our lawyers went in, and we are lay persons. We really don't have to understand. We are not legal people, but the court was full, and we all saw how well our Imran Khan's lawyer Salman Safdar was handling the case.